a strained relationship examining the potential for war between Afghanistan and Pakistan. The relationship between Afghanistan and Pakistan has long been characterized by mistrust, suspicion, and periodic violence. Recent events, including deadly clashes along the shared border, have raised concerns about the potential for a wider conflict. This complex situation demands careful analysis, taking into account the historical context, current political climate, and potential human cost of war. The international community watches with bated breath, hoping for a peaceful resolution to this volatile situation. The possibility of an all-out war between Afghanistan and Pakistan is a serious concern for the region and the world. Both countries possess significant military capabilities, and the consequences of a full-scale conflict would be devastating. However, several factors suggest that neither side actively seeks war. The economic and social costs of conflict would be immense for both nations. Afghanistan, still grappling with the aftermath of decades of war, is heavily reliant on international aid and faces a dire humanitarian crisis. Pakistan, while more economically stable, faces its own challenges, including internal political divisions and economic instability. The international community has a crucial role to play in preventing an escalation of violence. Diplomacy, dialogue, and confidence-building measures are essential to address the underlying issues fueling the tension. Recent border clashes, symptoms of a deeper conflict. Recent months have witnessed a surge in violence along the Afghanistan-Pakistan border, raising alarms about the potential for a broader conflict. Deadly clashes between border forces have resulted in casualties on both sides, fueling public anger and prompting calls for retaliation. These incidents highlight the fragility of the situation and underscore the urgent need for de-escalation. The border clashes are not isolated incidents, but rather symptoms of deeper, unresolved issues plaguing the relationship between the two countries. These issues include the long-standing dispute over the Durand Line, accusations of harboring militants, and competition for scarce resources such as water. The recent clashes have exacerbated existing tensions, making it more challenging to find common ground and seek peaceful solutions. The escalation of violence underscores the importance of addressing the root causes of the conflict, rather than resorting to military force. The international community must urge both sides to exercise restraint, engage in dialogue, and seek peaceful resolutions to their differences. Failure to do so could have dire consequences for the region and beyond.
To fully grasp the complexities of the Afghanistan-Pakistan relationship, it is essential to delve into the historical context that has shaped their interactions. The two countries share a common history, intertwined by cultural ties, ethnic connections, and religious affinities. However, this shared heritage is also marked by periods of conflict, mistrust, and unfulfilled aspirations, which continue to cast a shadow over their present-day relations. The historical legacy of colonialism, particularly the British Empire's role in drawing the Durand Line, remains a source of contention. This artificial boundary, imposed in the late 19th century, divided ethnic Pashtun communities, creating lasting resentment and fueling irredentist claims. The Soviet invasion of Afghanistan in 1979 and the subsequent influx of Afghan refugees into Pakistan further complicated the relationship. Pakistan became a key player in the anti-Soviet resistance, providing refuge to millions of Afghans, but also becoming embroiled in the conflict. The rise of the Taliban in the 1990s, with alleged support from elements within Pakistan, added another layer of complexity. Pakistan's recognition of the Taliban regime further strained relations with Afghanistan and the international community.
At the heart of the Afghanistan-Pakistan border dispute lies the Durand Line, a 2,670-kilometre or 1,659-mile boundary demarcated in 1893 by Sir Mortimer Durand, a British diplomat, and Abdur Rahman Khan, the then Emir of Afghanistan. The line, intended to define the sphere of influence between British India and Afghanistan, has since become a major point of contention, with Afghanistan consistently refusing to recognize it as an international border. Afghanistan's stance stems from the belief that the agreement establishing the Durand Line was coerced and that the boundary unfairly divides ethnic Pashtun communities residing on both sides. The Pashtunistan issue, advocating for a separate homeland for Pashtuns, has been a rallying cry for nationalist sentiments in Afghanistan, adding fuel to the fire. Pakistan, on the other hand, maintains that the Durand Line is a settled international border, citing the agreement's legal validity and subsequent treaties. The Pakistani government argues that revisiting the issue would amount to opening a Pandora's box, potentially destabilizing the entire region. The Durand Line dispute has significant implications for regional security and stability. It has been a major obstacle to fostering trust and cooperation between Afghanistan and Pakistan, hindering efforts to address shared challenges such as terrorism, extremism, and cross-border crime.
Section 5. Accusations and denials. The issue of militant safe havens. A major source of tension between Afghanistan and Pakistan revolves around accusations of harboring militants.
Afghanistan has long accused Pakistan of providing safe havens to the Taliban and other insurgent groups, who use these sanctuaries to launch attacks across the border.
These accusations gained traction after the US-led invasion of Afghanistan in 2001, with reports emerging of Taliban fighters seeking refuge in Pakistan's tribal areas.
Pakistan, while acknowledging the presence of militant groups within its borders, denies providing active support or sanctuary.
It argues that it has taken significant steps to combat terrorism, pointing to military operations against militant strongholds and efforts to crack down on cross-border movement.
The issue of militant safe havens has strained relations between the two countries, with accusations and counter-accusations hindering cooperation on security matters.
The lack of trust has hampered efforts to establish a joint strategy to combat terrorism, undermining regional stability.
The international community has urged both sides to address the issue of militant safe havens and to cooperate in combating terrorism.
However, progress has been limited, with both countries accusing each other of not doing enough to address the other's concerns. Image a map highlighting the Durand Line between Afghanistan and Pakistan.
The possibility of a full-scale war remains a significant concern. Political tensions are escalating, and military posturing is becoming more pronounced.
Indeed, the historical context cannot be ignored. Past conflicts in the region have often started with seemingly minor incidents that spiraled out of control.
While the situation is precarious, there are still diplomatic avenues that could potentially avert a large-scale conflict. The international community's role is crucial in this regard.
Dialogue is essential. Without open lines of communication, misunderstandings and mistrust will only deepen. Peace talks, even if challenging, are the only way to bridge the divide.
It's important to remember that dialogue is a process. It requires patience, persistence, and a genuine willingness to understand the other side's perspective.
The human cost of war is immeasurable. Families are torn apart, communities are destroyed, and the psychological scars last for generations.
The impact on civilians is often the most tragic aspect of any conflict. Beyond the immediate loss of life, there are long-term repercussions that affect entire societies.
As university students, we have a unique responsibility to advocate for peace and understanding. Our voices can make a difference in shaping a more peaceful future.
The energy and passion of young people are vital in driving change. By promoting dialogue and education, students can play a key role in fostering a culture of peace.